Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of week 3 of the 2019-2020 Premier League season. But before we get on to week 3, let's have a quick look back and a brief look back at week 2. Now then, Nathan, how many did you get?
I got 5 points, with one perfect score, that being Wolves to correctly draw with Man United at Molineux on Monday.
Yeah, I didn't fare too much better. I got 6 points overall and just one perfect score, which was the Brighton West Ham 1-1 score draw. From the viewers' selection, we picked at random David Redcliffe, who I know joins in most weeks, and he came away with 4 points. So overall now, Nathan, you're on 12 points, I'm on 15 points, and the viewers are lagging behind in 10 points, so they're going to have to pull their fingers out this week. Top scorer of the week, though, was Canary Sam with a magnificent haul of 15 points, and he, I'm presuming is a he, had 4 perfect scores, so well done on that excellent point score, Canary Sam. Fantasy football-wise, here is the top 10, and top of the shop, in first position is Zero Stock, managed by a Ninja Banerjee, I think that's how you pronounce it. 58 points for the week, 163 overall. I myself, Nathan, find myself in 9th position. I had a game week score of 37 points, and I'm now on an overall total of 146 points. You, Nathan, you're on, for the week, 45 points. Overall, you're on 86 points for the season, but you find yourself down in 144th position overall. I know there's over 160 playing in our league. Top scorer of the week with 72 points, though, was Second Coming, managed by Kwefelfi Delamy. I think that's how you... Excuse me if I pronounce your name wrong there. Overall points of 149 points, but a good haul of 72 points for the week. As usual, guys, I'm going to be leaving a template of the fixtures in the description. And as always, if you make your predictions in the comments section, I will then pick out at random, probably Thursday evening, maybe Friday morning, one of you guys to represent the viewers in Game Week 3's fixtures, and hopefully you'll do a little bit better than David did this week, even though I know that David does quite well anyway. But that's enough for the housekeeping. Let's crack on and make some predictions.
Okay, so first up on Friday night we have Aston Villa versus Everton. Now Villa losing to Bournemouth last time around. I think they didn't play as well as they should have in the first half, in my opinion, and then they picked up in the second half, getting a goal in the end. Everton beating Watford 1-0 out last time, sat in 9th position, unbeaten of course this season. I thought they did decent as well, so it's going to be quite a tricky one to predict this, but it's at Villa Park on a Friday night, so I'm going to say 1-1 draw.
Yeah, the crowd at Aston Villa are going to be well up for this one. Haven't won yet. Okay, it's only the 3rd match of the season. Have scored in their last 2 games, and they've looked okay. They haven't won or picked up any points yet, but I don't think they've been playing that badly. Maybe defensively, they need to tighten up a bit. However, in this game, I think Everton haven't conceded themselves this season. Wily campaigners, I can see them going to Villa Park. And they could have scored a few more goals against Watford. I know they beat them 1-0 last weekend, but Richarlison missing a couple of headers there. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for the Toffees in this one, and I think it's going to be fairly comfortable in the end. Next up, we've got Norwich against Chelsea. This takes place at 12:30 on Saturday. Norwich gaining a great victory last weekend against Newcastle. Pukki is the man of the hour. It looks like in the fantasy football team, everybody's, he seems to be coming into most people's teams now, and I'm pondering, shall I bring him in or shan't I? So I don't think I will for this week, but I know a lot of fantasy managers are. Chelsea drawing against Leicester. They went 1-0 up and they did look good, but then Leicester second half, you could say that the Foxes deserved to win that match. But in this one, I think Norwich's tails are up at the moment. Okay, I know they got defeated 4-1 in that first match, but against Liverpool, but second half they did perform well and brilliant against Newcastle. So I think it's going to be tough for Chelsea going away there to Carrow Road. I can see this one ending up in a draw. I think both teams will score, and I'm going to go for 1-1.
I've gone exactly the same as you. I also think Chelsea are going to struggle in this one. They haven't really had the best starts of the season. Frank Lampard, hasn't won as Chelsea manager either, I believe, in pre-season as well, which is something. Norwich, they're looking good, I believe. I think they'll finish much higher now than I put them in the predictions video, okay. Or the original, predicting the league table one. So, I think this one's going to be 1-1 as well. I imagine Pukki or Buenda, or if that's how you say his name, will score again. And maybe a Giroud or Mason Mount goal for Chelsea as well. So
Giroud scoring then, yeah?
Maybe Giroud scoring. Okay. But anyway.
I think Mason Mount looked quite good first half against Leicester. So.
Anyway, next up, starting with the 3 o'clock, so we've got Brighton versus Southampton. Now, Brighton, 5th position in the league, 1-1, drawn 1. Of course, they drew last week to West Ham. Could have very well almost won that one as well, on top of that.
It was VAR again. Yeah. Pathetic decisions by VAR. It was, what's the new winger in from... Trossard. Looked immense, looked really good in that game, and he had what I thought should have been a legitimate goal chalked off the board. I think it was for offside, and it was very marginal, really harsh.
That was so harsh, that one, on VAR.
Or was it handball? I can't remember now. It was either handball.
No, it was
offside.
It was offside because the Tottenham one was VAR.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, going back to that, Southampton thought they played well against Liverpool. Danny Ings scoring in the end, as you know. But I don't know. I just fancy Brighton's chances in this one in a South Coast derby. Just with the way that they've been playing, and let's hope VAR doesn't interfere too much in this one. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Brighton. Yeah,
I agree. I think Brighton are going to gain all 3 points in this one as well. Trossard, as we've already touched on, looks a very good player, really settled down into the Premier League already. Southampton really should have got something out of that game against Liverpool. I know Liverpool coming off the back of the Super Cup, and I think that went to extra time as well, so you had the likes, I think Salas played the whole 120 minutes as well, so they were a little bit jaded second half there, Liverpool. Southampton could have got something out of the match, could have ended up as 2-2, and I think they missed a real good chance at the end. I think that was Ings as well.
Yeah, it was Ings.
In this match, I think it's going to be a very tight affair. Brighton at home, can see them getting at least 1 goal, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory to the Seagulls in this fixture. Next up, we've got Manchester United against Crystal Palace. Man United last night, at the time of recording, drew at Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-1, missing a penalty. I think there was a bit of hoo-ha who should have had the penalty. Was it Pogba or Rashford? Rashford gave it to Pogba, or Pogba took the penalty and he missed, so they could have won that match. But that's all I've heard on Sky Sports News this morning, all about the penalty, who shouldn't be taking the penalties. You should only have 1 penalty taker. It's up to them. Whatever. I think what they should be concentrated on these things. What a great save by Patricio in the Wolves goal. No comment about him. It's all about Manchester United. Come on, give some credit to the so-called lesser teams. In this fixture, though, I think that Manchester United are going to win this one. Last weekend, Palace losing against New Boys Sheffield United. They haven't started the season well. Crystal Palace just drawing the first match, I think it was against Everton. Haven't conceded that many goals, but I'm going to have to go for a Manchester United victory, as it pains me to say, in this one. I think they're just going to be too strong, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 home victory to the Red Devils.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same as you have. However, I don't think the Man United defence is going to be strong enough in this one.
No.
I think Zaha's just going to break through with Townsend and the other good players that Palace have in their attack.
They are quick, aren't they?
Yeah, they are really quick. I just think they're going to overpower them, and I think it's going to be Man United 2, Crystal Palace 1. Next up, we have Sheffield United versus Leicester. Now, Sheffield United, what a win last week against
Palace.
Palace, of course, yeah. Lundstram, I believe.
Yeah, fantasy football wise, he's down as a defender. I think he's playing as a midfielder, so he banged a hatful of points for
he did.
Those managers who were in the team. I think 14 points for him.
14 points. It's an absolute shame he was on my bench last week.
Was he?
So yeah, he
Never
was.
Mind.
But oh dear on that one. But anyway, looking at Leicester, great draw against Chelsea last time around. Looked really strong as well. They've had a decent start to the season, to be fair to them. 2 draws as well. I think they're going to pick up from there. And I can actually see Leicester going to Bramall Lane and winning 1-0 against Sheffield United.
Yeah, so can I. I think Sheffield United it's going to be their home form that decides really if they're going to stay up or go down this season. They currently find themselves in 8th position with 1 victory and 1 draw. However, they're coming up against Leicester team managed by Brenda, of course, going away to Chelsea. I really think they should have beaten Chelsea in that fixture at Stamford Bridge. So I think they're going to go to Sheffield United. I think they're going to have too much pace for them and too much know-how, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to the Foxes. Next up, we've got Watford against West Ham. Watford losing both their fixtures so far, find themselves at the bottom of the table, haven't scored this season. They really need to start picking up. Okay, they only did lose 1-0 against Everton away from home, but Everton I feel could have scored a couple of more goals than they should have there. West Ham getting a draw away against Brighton when they could have lost that one. I know they got hammered in the first week of the season as well against Manchester City. They've got the quality in their ranks, West Ham, but they really need to start showing some of that quality there. But this is a game that they should be looking to win. However, I've got a feeling that Watford, they're going to regroup this week after that defeat against Everton, and I can see them narrowly beating the Hammers 2-1 in this game.
Interesting. Well, yeah, Watford at the moment only team not to score so far in the Prem, which is something that
Crystal Palace as well haven't scored either. So
yeah, which is something really not known about Watford, because they normally, to be fair to them, get loads of goals. So, but anyway, coming up against a West Ham team, looked very shaky against Brighton. Could have very well lost that game if VAR didn't step in and save them. So I don't know what. I just fancy Watford's chances at home, so I can see them winning 2-1. But I do think West Ham will score.
Same as me.
Yeah, same as you again. I think Hilaire will pop up with one. So yeah, moving on to Wolves versus Burnley now. Wolves getting a very good point against Man United. Could have very well won that game as well. Didn't have a good first half of the game, but then they did pick up in the second half. Patricio, what a save as well, watching that one live.
Unless it was a bad penalty.
I don't know, because Pogba could have improved his run up a little bit, but it was still a good save.
He didn't do his stutter though, did he? So.
No, he didn't do his stutter. He just did the little walk up, and then he just tried to shoot and failed miserably. But anyway, Burnley losing last time around to Arsenal. Very hard place to go and get points at the Emirates, but I just fancy Wolves' chance in this one. They're at Molineux, and I think they're going to win 2-0.
Yeah, I think Wolves are going to win this one as well. Burnley have scored in their first 2 fixtures. I think they'll pop up with a goal themselves. But I think at Molineux, at home, in front of a good crowd there, good backing, I think Wolves are going to come away with this 1-2-1. Yeah. They should have. Well, they did get a point against Manchester United, but I think they'll get all 3 in this home tie against Burnley. Next up, we've got the evening fixture between Liverpool and Arsenal. Not sure, this is probably going to be on BT Sport, I should imagine.
Think so, yeah.
Just need to confirm that, really. Liverpool, they haven't lost against Arsenal now since 2015, and they haven't actually lost against them at home since 2012. They've had a week's rest in this week as well. They haven't got a Super Cup or European competitions or anything, so they'll be a little bit fresher than they were last week against Southampton, where they could have easily drawn that match. I think they're going to have too much for Arsenal, although Arsenal are looking a bit better than last season. Is it Cerebos that's come in?
Yeah, from
Real Madrid. He looks a very good player for Arsenal. Aubameyang scoring goals as well. He'll probably get a goal this weekend, or Lacazette, I'm not sure who, but I think they will score against Liverpool, because Liverpool have conceded in their first couple of matches. So I think they will score, even though Liverpool are going to be looking now to start to shore things up at the back. But going forward, Liverpool against Arsenal, Arsenal's back line, even with a David Luiz coming in there, they're going to be conceding goals this season, as they did against Burnley last week, of course. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to the Reds in this one.
Interesting. Well, believe it or not, I actually think Liverpool are going to keep a clean sheet in this one.
Okay.
They're playing at Anfield. teams never traditionally score at Anfield. I think it was only,
didn't last season anyway.
Didn't really last season. I think it was mainly only Cardiff and a few other teams that got to put it out there that actually scored at Anfield last season. So put it in the comments, guys, what other teams scored at Anfield last season. But yeah, I don't think Liverpool will win overwhelmingly by much, but because I think Arsenal will try and keep the ball from them, and then Liverpool will go straight on the counter and start scoring. So I think, to play it safe, I'm going to say a 2-0 victory to the Reds. Next up, moving on to the Sunday fixtures, at 2 o'clock we've got Bournemouth Man City. Now, Man City being absolutely robbed by VAR in the last match.
Terrible decision.
Awful, honestly. I mean, you couldn't even see that on the camera. Yeah,
I know it's the letter of the law, but come on, use some common sense.
Yeah, but like that should have definitely been a goal. Massively, Man City were robbed there. That's my opinion, anyway. But
I think Pep agrees with you as well.
Yeah, definitely 100%. Whereas Poch doesn't. So, but anyway, Bournemouth looking good as well. Haven't lost this season. One last time around, I believe, to Aston Villa. They were really good in that match. The likes of Josh King and Callum Wilson. However, I don't
Harry
think...
Wilson as well. And
Harry Wilson, of course. But, however, I don't think they're going to do much in this one. And I can see Man City getting a few goals in, and I can see them winning 2-0.
Yeah, Man City, the juggernaut. Harry Wilson, I just mentioned then, excellent goal against Aston Villa, smashed it in from, what was it, 20 or 30 yards. In this one, though, they're at home against Manchester City, small ground, only 12,000 in attendance. So, but Manchester City, they're going to be seething after that VAR decision last week. Pep's going to have them fired up. I think they're just going to destroy the Cherries this weekend. They're going to crush them under their feet. De Bruyne looks fantastic at the moment, and Sterling's scoring for fun. So I'm going to go for a 4-0 win to the Citizens in this one. Easy for them, I think, this one. The final fixture of the weekend is Spurs against Newcastle. This takes place at 4:30 on Sunday eve or Sunday afternoon. Spurs getting that draw, that lucky draw, I should say, against Manchester City. But I'm no Manchester City fan, but I'm a fan of football, and that VAR.
Terrible.
Coming against Newcastle. Newcastle humiliated, you could say, against Norwich and Pukki last time out. I think it was Voldemort scored a goal. I think we mentioned him in the last video as well. But I think Spurs at home in that fantastic ground that they've got, currently in 6th position in the table, winning one and drawing one. They want to get back to winning ways this weekend, even though it was that draw against Manchester City last weekend. I think it's going to be a fairly easy, straightforward victory for the Whites there in North London, and I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory to Spurs.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I just think they're going to absolutely overpower Newcastle. I don't think the Newcastle striking force, Joelinton, Almiron, are going to get anything through the Spurs defence in this one. I just think Kane, Son and Lucas Moura will be way too strong for this one. Of course, Heung-min Son is actually back. Thanks for correcting me in the comments, guys. But this week, of course. But I think 3-0 standard win. Yeah, Joelinton really needs to get off the mark. He's had a couple of chances, but he's just not doing it at the moment. Just not scoring.
But just finding his feet in the Premier League. So, right, and so that concludes our predictions for week 3 of the 2019-2020 season. As usual, I'm going to leave a template of the fixtures in the description, and as usual, if you make, you can copy and paste them into your comments, and like Canary Sam last week, magnificent score of 15 points, you can get a shout out in the next video. Also on Thursday, possibly Friday morning, we're going to be selecting at random as well the viewer for week 3 of the season. But for now, Nathan, is there anything you'd like to add? Subscribe to my channel, link in description below. And I hope everybody enjoyed your live stream last weekend. Live stream where we absolutely got destroyed by Reading. Indeed, terrible match that was. Yeah. Maybe this week we might be doing this video from a different location. We'll have to make sure we might go outside or something. Yeah. Because it's looking a bit brighter outside. But for now, we'll bid you farewell, and we'll see you in the next video.